name's Charlie and welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to be doing the Alphabet Soup book tag. N is for Novella, and this is an original book tag series created by the wonderful Shawn the Book Maniac. He tagged me in this just yesterday, or just today, so I'm filming it for you guys the very next day. I can't wait to get into it because it's just such a fun tag, so yes. Question number 1 is N is for Novella, the last good one you read. I've talked about this in my wrap-up, and lots of you will know about it. It is Animal Farm by George Orwell. It's obviously about it's largely about a group of animals on a farm that kind of overtake the farm, but it's so much more because it's a lot of it's politically themed, and I'm sure most of you have heard about it. If you haven't read it, you definitely do. It's good. It's just as good as what people say it is, in my opinion. So yeah, that's that one. Question number 2 is N is for Neighbour. A work of fiction focused, or at least largely concerned with neighbours. And this one I've picked Frederick Backman's A Man Called Uwe. This is mostly about, obviously, this is about a man called Uwe, obviously. He's a grumpy old man, but the neighbours in this, and his neighbours, help him so much. It goes back and forth to two timelines. It goes back to sort of that you hear the story of Uwe growing up, but also the current timeline is with him and with his neighbours kind of thing. So I feel like the neighbours help a lot, so that is why this is included, and I love the neighbours in this book. So yeah, and this is such a wonderful book. This is one of my favourite books. So that is that. Question number 3 is N is for name. A writer you'd recommend whose first or last name starts with N. So for this one I have picked Neil Gaiman. I've read 4 of his books in the last just over a year. I've read The Graveyard Boy. I read last autumn, which was really good. It's about a character called Bod who's basically raised in a graveyard by ghouls and ghosts. This is a middle grade book, and it's just wonderful. And plus, this particular edition is illustrated by Chris Riddell, whose illustrations I adore. And also I read Stardust by Neil Gaiman recently, and this was such a wonderful book. I love this so much. It's very short and snippety, but it's gorgeous, and I love the film of this as well. And then just very recently, this gorgeous edition, The Good Omens by obviously Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. And whilst the story of this is very outdated, the actual television, the series, Amazon made a series of it, which is so amazing, and this book is so gorgeous, and there are so many beautiful illustrations in it. I mean, that alone, surely, that is just such a, sorry, the glare, but that alone is like one of my favourite ones. So yeah, Neil Gaiman, he's one of my favourites. Question number 4 is N is for Nuptials, a work of fiction that didn't suck about a wedding. Being honest with you, I can't actually think of any books that I've read about weddings. I probably have in the years gone by, but I really cannot remember. So instead I've pulled off 2 books from my shelves that are kind of about weddings, or I've been told that they're about weddings. One is definitely, but yeah, this one is Great Expectations. I've heard is about, I haven't actually read this, the tome of a classic, and this is about a lady who receives a letter on her wedding day from her husband to be, saying he's not all that he is, or something. He's not all that he had claimed to be, and so she spends the day in her wedding dress. This is according to what I've heard about it. And also The Wedding Promise by Anna Hannigan, which my sister Emily from Novella Novels loved. So, and this is contemporary, which I haven't really been drawn to, being honest, but I will try and get to it at some point because I know how much Emily loved it. So yeah, I can't say those 2, but I just did. So question number 5 is N is for Not Aging. Well, a book that you like less when you read it. So kind of a reread that you liked less. Again, I can't actually think of one that I've reread that I haven't enjoyed, because most of the books I have reread recently are ones that completely are my favourites. I probably wouldn't keep them on my shelves otherwise. So the only thing that I could sort of think of was, I used to read a lot of Jane Green books in my early 20s, and they're sort of, again, contemporary romances, and I really don't think that if I read them I would enjoy them as much, so I probably would say them. Sorry Emily, I know you love them as well. So yeah, that's my answer for that one. Question number 6 is N is for a title of N is for a book title with a lot of N's. And Shawn specifically said that you get bonus points if you found one that had more than three N's in. So I'm going to get that and show you. So this one I have picked is Maya Angelou's Singing and Swinging and Getting Merry Like Christmas. And including the N from the Maya Angelou, it's 6 N's. So how's that going? I think that's quite good going. Those of you that are new to my channel, I just adore Maya Angelou's writing, and I'm working my way through her biographies. I've read 4 of them so far. I've still got 2 more of them left to go, and I'm hoping to finish them this year. But yeah, I love them so much, and this is just as good as one of them. So yeah, that's my top one for that one. It's the 3rd one, I think, in the series, in her series of autobiographies. Right, question number 7. Not sure. A book you kept changing your mind about whether you want to read it or not. I know one for this one. I was just having a little think, and I think the one I keep changing my mind about whether I want to read it or not is actually the Game of Thrones, because everyone talks about Game of Thrones so much, and I've got quite a few friends in real life that love the TV show, and it is on my Bookish Post stuff, which I'll put the Bookish Post links down below. It's a series of videos I'm doing. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know about it. I don't know whether I should read it or not. Tell me in the comments below if you've read it, if it's worth reading. Also, the Lord of the Rings trilogy I've never read, which is another kind of cult one. And I haven't actually ever seen the films of them either. So tell me, is it worth with that just to watch the watch the film or read the books? Should I read? Is it worth it? Should I read them? Because I don't know. I keep changing my mind. And they're quite commitments, the Game of Thrones and the Lord of the Rings things. Right, so question number 8 is Nitpick. Some small literary writing or book related thing that drives you mad or drives you round the bend. The only thing I could think of with this, the main thing that jumped to my mind was, and again, I'm going to talk about a book that a lot of you will love, so I'm sorry for this. I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt with my lovely friend Simone from Me, Simone and I, and one of the things that kind of irked me slightly about it, and it does irk me about other books, is when a book says, he said, she said, he said, she said, he said, she said, and they constantly say it in quick succession in the text. It just drives me crazy when you just don't need to do it all the time. And there's plenty of other books I read that don't do that. I don't know why, it just irks me when a writer constantly writes, he said, then he said, and then she said. Makes me go batty. Not that I'm already enough batty as it is. But yeah, so that is my one. Question number 9 is next. N is for next to nothing. A book that you read as an adult that you barely remember a blessed thing about. There was one I read called The Trap by, I can't remember the name of the name of the author, and this is kind of like a thrillery kind of book it's meant to be. And I really can't remember very much about it. I know how it was just terrible. It was really, really awful. And I think that's probably why I don't remember much about it, to be honest. So yeah, I would say that one. The next one is N is for New Zealand, a book or a writer you'd like to read from there. And it says, find out one if you need to. And it'll be fun. So I've actually got one for this. I'm going to reach forward. This is one I've recently hauled. So this is Mr. Pip by Lloyd Jones, and he is from New Zealand, and it's kind of meant to be, I think it's meant to be historical kind of fiction, I think. So, and look at that cover, it's gorgeous. So I can't wait to read this, and I think this was shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize. Well, that's what it says on the top there, so I didn't even need to look at that, did I? Yeah, can't wait to get this. I know my friend Charlie from Charles Heathcote, yeah, he recommends this one, so yeah. That is my one for that one. Can't wait to get to it. Question 11. N is for nodding off. A mind-numbingly boring book. This is such a Shawn question. I just love, because I love how you put things. It's so brilliant. It makes me laugh. Again, this is really harsh. I feel really harsh saying this. I recently read, again, this is going to be one that you guys are all going to be screaming at me for. I don't think it's mind-numbingly boring, but I just didn't really enjoy it. I read The Fingersmith this month by Sarah Waters. I'm so sorry, people that love Sarah Waters, but I just didn't really enjoy it that much, and I found myself trying to chug through it. So for that is going to be my answer for that one. I'm so sorry, Sarah Waters fans. Please don't hate me. Yeah, that's my answer for that one. Right, question number 12 is, N is for next. The next book you're going to read. The one I'm kind of currently reading is Anna Karenina. Can I say that? Or I've got one on my shelves, let me have a look. The first one I pulled off my book trolley is All Out, edited by Sandra Mitchell. This is like a collection of it's like a short story collection written by queer LGBTQ plus teenagers. I'm super excited to read this. I'm meant to be reading this with Gaia from Gaia Athena. I'll link her channel down below as well. This month, and yeah, I think there's going to be a great mixture of stories in here. So that is my answer for that one. Now it says N is for now it's your turn. So we've got to tag a bevy of booktubers. So obviously I've mentioned Simone and from me, Simone and I, Emily from Novella Novels and Gaia Athena, so I'll tag them. I also want to tag Tom from Tom Reads Things, and also I'm going to tag Steve Warman. He's Steve has recently set up a new channel, and he's new to booktube, even though he's been watching loads of us for quite a long time. And I just want to give him a shout out, so everyone go and subscribe to Steve, and yeah, Steve, try and do this tag, yeah, if you can. So there. Thank you so much again, Sean, for tagging me. I can't wait to watch everyone else's videos of these. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a good day. If you're new to my channel, I post videos on Wednesdays and Sundays. So if you're new, well, that is when you'll find me. Take care and sending you lots of love. Bye!